Hello? Hello?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
All right, welcome to Osmosis. How are you?
I'm doing fine. How about you?
It's been pretty fun tonight. Um, Go ahead and introduce yourself.
My name's Michael Muir. Uh, I make music and I live I live in well, specifically where I live in Northeast Ohio.
Or the Midwest, the crazy Midwest.
Definitely.
All right,
Recent- Yes.
I was gonna go ahead and ask you, what's your astrological sign? Do you believe in astrological stuff, astrology?
I am Scorpio.
Oh, very wild. So, do you resonate with Scorpio? Are you like the early guy? Are you the late guy?
Sorry, what was that?
Are you the early Scorpio, the late Scorpio? Do you resonate with it?
I'm I think I'm like mid mid Scorpio. I was born November 16th. Uh
Okay.
do I resonate with it? I suppose so. I know they say a lot about being passionate, being very tumultuous, like very emotional. That's definitely that applies.
Now, I would say in the music, I would have never guessed it.
What would you would you have said?
I'm really kind of being maybe a little sarcastic there.
I hear you.
All right, so all right, we'll go ahead and talk about it. The live and uncut of Family Dollar. Okay, so explain a little bit about the birth and why we get live and uncut of Family Dollar as far as on Bandcamp.
This was because I went to visit my friend who was working there up in Michigan, White Pigeon, Michigan. My friend Jacob Molinex, he's a filmmaker, but he was the only one besides his coworker who was like she was cool with it. Like, and basically he just let me come in. I had a battery powered speaker, and I just kind of hooked up and just played music for like a decent amount of the shift. And then I just kind of, I don't know, I guess the shift ended and that was the end of it. That was the end of set.
Which explains like the weird edit. And I was gonna get into this, like where your intentions, and like I'm just gonna try and get like capture like what I've been working on, or were you already like recording music prior to putting out the Family Dollar cut? How did it happen?
Oh, yeah, I've been recording music since I was like 15. Um, so this is like, what's that? I'm 26.
Yeah.
Uh, all right, nice. That's a good age. Um, but yeah, with the Family Dollar thing, that was a mystical experience if I ever had. Um, like people were into it. Like this is White Pigeon, Michigan. I'm not sure if you know anything about White Pigeon, but basically it's the middle of fucking nowhere. Um, and like I think they don't they really don't necessarily like. I think where I was playing, actually I was playing in Sturgis. Sturgis was where Duke Ellington played his last show actually. So that was kind of a bit of history for that. There's probably some famous athletes from there, but I don't know anything about that.
So, whenever like you're working on music, are you like recording it in any kind of way or format, or is that just how it was in the early days and then it kind of shifted? how did it kind of come up to where you're like doing these like weird tweaks and edits and like the weird like effects and overdubs and all that stuff?
Um, honestly, I've like simplified it more and more. Like when I record now, I don't really edit at all. I do live editing. Um, but like there are some stuff I do that is it's I tweak I tweak at it, and it's whatever passion project, whatever you want to call it. But fucking I just like sorry, could you repeat the question?
So, like for me right now, I mean, I hate to throw out these other releases under the bus or like out of the question, but for me, like I'm really into the Robo Go Go or yeah, Robo Go Go. I'm really digging the guitar music. Um, and I was
Yeah,
really interested in like what the fuck? What the fuck happened whenever you're making music for Robo, where it's just like this 40-minute recording of like, of us kind of getting whatever we're getting. And, I was like, I mean, I was really intrigued on the idea because I was like, I've done Robo, and like, I totally know it's like listening to music. And then I took the dive on this and I was like, yeah, that might be Robo.
uh, well, so Robo Go Go, that was like the follow up to music for Robo Tripping, and that was all. Let me think. Like actually, I'm gonna look at it on my phone right now. Um, yeah, no, it's fun. Like honestly, like I don't want to. Like let's see. I've recorded one, two, three, four, five, six. Like six of my past albums I've done mostly under the influence of DXM. But with Robo A Go Go, basically it was just me going to the third plateau, fourth plateau, just complete dissociation, just um, and like just letting it go. Some of it I edited obviously when I was like more thinking straight, but like um, a lot of it is definitely under the influence, and like that's kind of how it's been forever. Like I've done like 13 albums on acid before that.
I kind of also went through this period of just like recording of like stuff on like USB recorders, SD cards, while I was just kind of taking these substances, even if they were like research chemicals or whatever. I was just kind of like, all right, I mean, I'm set up and I'm making music, so I might as well like get like a little bit of snippets while I can. And I remember
Yeah.
I stole this one thing from like my high school. It was called like a super scope recorder, and you could record like right into it, and it also could like record onto CD. So like you could put a fresh new CD in there and then plug up your instruments and record a CD and also tweak with like the echo, the treble, and the
Oh.
bass and everything
Oh,
while
that's
you're,
cool.
so
That's
yeah,
really cool.
so you're getting a DI
Um.
version, you know.
Yeah. No. Yeah. With how I record things now, honestly, I just have an audio interface. But I've recorded the 4 track. I've wanted to get into like I want to get away from the computer, like because it's like when especially like it's like you're manning the controls when especially that's how I look at it when I'm really like in I guess I don't know just making music and I'm really in a trance, um whether I'm sober or not, like having the computer there is kind of it's all right, but like it's not. I don't know. There's just something about it that kind of turns me off a bit. It can be fun, but like I don't know. I guess like maybe it's like purism or whatever, like being anal about it, but I don't know.
I got like a friend.
Yeah, yeah,
There was,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
there were some times where I was just like, okay, I can see like you're kind of honing into like your craft as far as like what you're able to do on guitar and also like your vocals and like what you're able to do with like the editing of drums and like programming drums to actually like it fit and play to like what you're actually playing. So that's kind of where it also like opened my mind was like, wow, like you don't have to just like run these like programs like the way that I was doing. I was like, you can actually like make these programs like fit for you to like mold and play the track that you're wanting, like and have in your mind. In my
yeah,
mind, yeah, like in my mind, I was like, oh, I didn't see like this palette that you actually like were scoping with, and now I see that you're doing it. I can do that too. I was wondering if you ever kind
yeah.
of went with that, like with your like I see like the jump in your music whenever it got to like once again, what was it? Once again, once more, once again. You kind of take like another shift to as far as
Yeah,
like what you did.
that was actually a live recording. My that was actually the same friend I recorded at what Family Dollar. We did a live score for his film in his bedroom. We just smoked a bunch of hash and just like kind of banged it out in one night watching the film. Yeah, absolutely. No, I'm like everything I do now is basically improvised or as close to being improvised as I can get it. Um, like I very much come from the school of like free improvisation, like free jazz. I'm not I never went to school. I just taught myself everything, but I don't I just can't. I can't like frankly. I mean, I can't make regular music. I've tried to make like to me what I'm making now, like that's pop music to me. Like I've always loved pop music, but I just can't make it the way.
I've been that too. Like whenever I was younger, like the people that were around me were like really focused on like cover bands, kind of stuff, and like I remember like my best friend comes over and teaches me how to play like in the air tonight on piano, where like I'm
Oh, I love
ready.
that song.
You know, like I was like ready to go out and just like play this to like an audience, and like and his own sister I remember like showing me the keys to the Titanic song, the "Wherever You Are" by Celine Dion, and I was like, I need to know how you did that on piano because I was like, that song is the shit.
Yeah,
and,
yeah,
and like
yeah.
and to me, it's like I was just kind of like finding these little. I don't know, these little cultural songs where whenever it came to me on the piano and there was like between you actually playing your song, you're like maybe showing the audience, like, oh, I do know maybe Kids by MGMT on the keyboard real quick before like I go ahead and play my next song or something. Like, I've always had that kind of in the back of my mind is like that's kind of the point of like knowing a cover song, but I never really understood the point of like why bands would play the full cover song as like a bit of their set. Other than like in between like little moments of like maybe tuning up while you're about to play like your own actual song that you wrote. I find
Yeah,
that more appealing, especially when it comes to like performances and shows of like, okay, that artist played like 30 minutes of their own fucking material, but I have no clue who that guy was. At least he didn't play like, I don't know, radiate or what, radioactive or whatever, or
yeah. Oh, it's funny. You bring up. I fucking hate that song. You talking about Imagine Dragons? I fucking hate that song. Yeah, no, 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 no. I totally get that. Like I've covered like actually I did a Marvin Gaye cover on Robo Go Go. It's like my own version of it, but like I know what you're saying because I don't understand. Like we don't need there's not like if I want to listen to a recording like if I want to listen to a song, I'll listen to the song. I don't want to be like bombarded with like your shitty cover of it. Um, like yeah. Yeah, yeah, no, I know where you're coming from with that. Yeah, it's it's I think it's losing like I mean like before I mean like there's a huge like philosophy for me where it's like anyone can create music. Like it doesn't matter how well trained you are. Like it's all pretty valid to me. Like you don't have to like play the game. You don't have to like be like appease people necessarily. I think what a lot of people want is they want the raw real thing. Um, but maybe they don't know how to ask for it, or maybe they can't come to terms with it for themselves.
no, that's like I guess the biggest part of like the punk and like alternative weird scene. Whenever you get like these bands that uh, really do bring out like a variety of people or various people to the crowd
Yeah,
that will give that kind of music the light of day because out of the fact that entire set of material was like straight from a different place or maybe also able to find um, the performative ways you relate to it too, as far as like what's cool or fast paced or slowed down and relaxed in some cases too.
yeah, yeah.
I know we're bringing on to some heavy topics here, so I was going to get back into the vibe osmosis. What's your favorite movie?
Oh, favorite movie? Oh shit. Oh, um, honestly, I forget what all the movies I've seen. Uh, I'm looking at my IMDb. If I'm honest, I'm gonna look at what because I literally can't remember.
All right, so like
Literally,
we recently, like me and my partner, we recently watched Love and Death, um, what the new Evil Dead movie, the reality movie, the Air Jump Nike movie, Avatar 2, obviously, couldn't pass up Avatar.
uh, recently, let's see. Let's just say my favorite movie. Fuck, that's so hard. Oh, I guess recent movies I've watched. I mean um, like these are not my favorites, but like Inauguration of the Pleasure Dome, by Kenneth Anger. Um, Derailroaded, which is like the Wild Man Fisher documentary. Uh, 3-6 Mafia Choices, the movie. Uh, Invasion of Thunderbolt Pagoda. That's that that one's that's that one. That one might be my favorite. Like when it comes to my favorite, like I've only seen it once, but like On the Silver Globe by Andrzej Zulawski. It's a Polish science film or science fiction film. Um, and it's really. Oh, I saw Bad Lieutenant, the one with Nick Cage, the Herzog one, not the original, the Herzog one. That was pretty good. Um, but those are just some movies I've seen recently. But Invasion of the Thunderbolt Pagoda, that might be my favorite. I don't watch a lot of movies. Like I watch them every once in a while.
Are you like a show person or like flip through surf like channel surfer?
Um, kind of a show person. I like again like I mostly listen to music, honestly.
I want to bring up what. So one of the movies I kind of always forget to mention, that like I don't know, I have definitely have many experiences watching, was Melancholia. Melancholia. I've like one time, like the first time I watched it, I like watched it on an acid trip, and like on the in the very like first few scenes, stuff was like moving forwards and backwards and like slow motion, and like you're trying to piece together like the setting and like the time of day and like what the fuck is going on and the emotional like like overall atmosphere between every character dynamic. That was one of those movies where I was like, this is reality just like packed into so many like messages trying to teach you between like why you should get married, maybe why you should not get married, why this person's feeling this way, and why there's also like witchcraft and magic going on at the same time. Like I kind of like think about those like magical moments. I feel like whenever you think about like, these at-home films, especially like whenever you're not expecting like a movie to be that good, you know.
Yeah,
I,
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
I have the same mentality whenever it comes to music. Like I'll come across so many different artists where I'm like, I see what they're doing on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube and everything. Now I'm gonna finally actually take the dive on like what their music is and like how like if I vibe or pick out like a track that I'm like, yeah, that was good. Like that one I would actually, go back to.
Yeah.
I was wondering, like, do you kind of ever have that experience, like, listening to, like, records or trying to find, like, artists that you're like, yeah, like, that one I need to add to the roster or whatever?
Yeah, yeah. No, I do that all the time. Where I guess you're kind of like seeking out what what. Yeah, yeah. I do that all the time. I do that. Um, I sometimes I stick. Honestly, I listen to a lot of the same music, but like sometimes, yeah, it's like taking a dive on music and that with that like it helps it obviously it helps to have an open mind, but like it goes without saying, but sometimes I don't know, like sometimes I honestly I get turned off by a lot of music. um like I end up listening like I kind of have my my whole that I have, and like I like being like taken out of that, like especially with live music. Like honestly, if I'm gonna experience music, I'd rather experience it live because recorded music, like you can't really get. It's like it's just you and the music, and like you don't really see the people, you don't really interact. It's like it's really two dimensional to me. Like recorded music, um, like that's one thing I like about live performances is the energy is there, and you can like see the conviction of the people uh, doing it.
Now, like I want to bring up, like like totally, I see what you mean about like being turned off by certain music. Like I will be in my car driving around, and like searching through channels, and like one of the ones that they always bring up is "Search and Rescue" by Drake, where it's like like and they could buy you all day mommy, and like I'm over here just like, Drake, I see you, I see what you're doing. um I don't know, there's like a few Drake songs where I'm just like, damn, like uh there's just some aspects to me. It's like you can find a parody or a release in that too. But I'm like, why are you gonna probably play that like at least 50 times in one day on the radio whenever there's X, Y, and Z stuff out there, specifically,
Yeah,
you
it's.
know?
I mean, yeah. I mean, you could really, like, we could talk about that forever. Like, why the radio does that. Like, I was talking about that with my mom
The
today,
industry.
actually. Like, it's just they play the same like 10 songs over and over again, and it's like people are just like in hypnosis.
So I mean, what to be? I mean, I feel you because I mean, at least the lyrics get with you because you get with it all day, daddy. And that's what I'm saying. Like all the time that I'm listening to it, I'm like, I'm finding out what words I can possibly change to like fuck up the song. But in the end game, I'm over here trying to fit a melody and like these little pockets, just like Drake. So, like, who's the monster? Who's the puppet? So I'm gonna bring this right back down to your music. What's like your favorite part about creating music and recording it? Because you do a lot of it yourself.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, like I play with others, but yeah, no, I try to collaborate with others, but yeah, when I doing it myself, um, oh, sorry, could you repeat the question? Oh, favorite part, yeah, favorite part. Um, honestly, it's just cathartic release, emotional release, um, and like stimulating, like trying to create music that like I want to listen to. Um, like that's a big thing. Uh, and just doing it. I mean, like it's like it's different every time,
I
which is
find I find it
what's
to
that?
me like personally like whenever you're making music, it's like sometimes a lot easier to not focus on recording because you're just like
Yeah,
having that like, okay, like I'm not recording anything, like I'm building up and like making this on a something. And then there's also like that big pressure, I guess, whenever you're going to go ahead and click record, and like, are you working with
yeah,
the instruments, or like what are you bringing that you maybe want to hear and out there per se too. And I was
yeah,
wondering,
yeah.
in your own music, as like the Michael Muir stuff, I know you have what's the Fun House Mirror Skull?
Mirror skull.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. So you kind of have like this way of like tapping into like different kinds of elements you're bringing to your music.
yeah, yeah. I mean, what are you asking about that?
So, like, whenever you're developing these tracks, and you have like this Michael mirrors stuff, and then you have like this other kind of like sound on this other kind of project.
Yeah.
Is that kind of like intentional, or is it about like
Oh yeah.
what the vibe is and everything?
Yeah, yeah. Well, Funhouse Musical is like my I mean, I've had many different, like, if I could make, like, if I could somehow quantify everything that I'm doing into a separate music project, I probably would. Like, I just enjoy it. I just enjoy like coming up with names and stuff. But um uh for the Michael Mears stuff, that's just me, just like doing me. And then Funhouse Mirror Skull is just like making electronic music more or less. It's
So,
also what I use to like DJ with
right, so
when
you
I'm like
do.
doing that.
Yeah, just like with putting out like that stuff, like you do kind of differentiate like the sounds, especially like from the other releases. And I was kind of wondering if that was like an intentional, or if that was like this is like the theme, or this is the update. You know, especially as far as like
Oh
that last stuff
yeah.
being like the recent stuff you put out, as far as like being a different direction. Just go ahead and elaborate on some of that.
Yeah, yeah. Basically, well, the news. To be frank, the new project kind of came about because I got a drum machine, and then I got another synthesizer, and then I ended up getting another drum machine and another synthesizer, and like it's just kind of building from that. Like, so honestly, it's just, for my circumstance, it's just getting new gear, and like making a different kind of music. Um, Obviously, I'd like to just at some point get it all together and just, it doesn't matter. It's Michael Mir or whatever. Um, like like um I've I've done live performances where I've auditioned with my other project and then done a completely different project live. And then I did that twice. I did it both ways. I auditioned with a guitar, with like my guitar stuff, and I did electronic. I did like an acid techno thing. Um, and like it only came about because like, well, Ohio sucks, but also well, the first time this, or the second time I performed solo was in North Carolina. Um, but that was just because I wanted to. I don't know. I wanted to do something different. Really, it just, you know, it's like for me, I just get bored a lot, and like I want to like challenge myself, especially like with music. Like I like, one of the worst things I think of when you're doing like live performance, maybe at least for me, is like it needs to be at least interesting, or like it, like you need to be like kind of conscientious about what other people are doing. I think, at least for me, again, I'm not putting down anyone for like maybe making like the same kind of music as other people, or like wanting to be like a contrarian or something. Um, I think it has to do with just how can I mix it up, you know? How can I like make it a little more like, I don't know, make the stakes higher, make it a little interesting. Yeah, yeah, definitely. I mean, like the last, or yeah, first or the second time I performed, which was my electronic set. I did it on acid, like pretty, like probably about 200 micrograms. So that was a lot of fun. That was like my first time playing electronic music live. That was my first time playing in North Carolina. First time meeting those people that set it up for me. It was a lot of fun. Like I drove like 9 hours just to get there. Um, so it was uh, I don't know. It just like I used to. I mean, this kind of taps into like something larger. I mean, like, sorry if I'm kind of ranting now, but I'm always up. I like always try to. do adventure. Like I traveled across the USA in the van, like in 2021, and I drove like 15,000 miles. Uh, I went west, and then I came back, and then I came back to Ohio. Oh, I went all the way to California, Northern California. I was living in Colorado for about 3 months after that. Um, uh, what's that? You have a van? Oh yeah, 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 yeah. No, believe me, I had some problems too. Like I fucking like I thought my transmission was going out. I thought like I basically went down south. I went southeast or yeah southeast, and then I went southwest. I went west after that, and then I went north, and then I went back down, and I was like I don't remember. Then I went through like Las Vegas, and then I went through Colorado and all that stuff. But yeah, no, it's yeah, the vans can have some problems with them.
are
But
you ready? Are you ready for?
it was actually a 1988 Ford Econoline. But the people who had it before me took great care of it. It's like in temperature or like air yeah temperature controlled environment for like a decade or so, like since like the 90s. So it was
Are,
pretty
are
good condition.
are you ready for your next like travel out west sort of vibe again? Because I've been there like a couple
I
times.
am. I sold the van, but I've been dying to go out west because I have a lot of friends out in like LA, and like I really want to see them. But uh, yeah, like I'm ready. I'm not financially ready, but I'm ready.
I'd say I've even left whenever I had like maybe like no like almost no money, and I was just like, oh, I'm gonna
Oh
make it
yeah,
work, you
no, no,
know.
I've done that. I've done that too.
And
Yeah,
I
it's
feel like
still fun.
I guess now that COVID's happened, that's where we're like, okay, maybe we can't do it the same way.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I totally remember like before COVID, there was like a whole different kind of mentality. It's like it couldn't even exist, you know, it didn't even exist. So it's like there was a whole different mindset before even such thing could like you know predict how your body and mind was going to shut down.
Yeah, 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 yeah. You're right. Yeah, it was totally different. Yeah, it's definitely interesting times we're living in.
And I guess that's why I'm really appreciative of the people that are still, I guess, open-minded and still willing to help people that are struggling, even though it's like a whole different ball game, I guess, than it was whenever you could do fuckery shit and it was questionable.
Yeah, yeah.
I and I kind of, I guess I want to bring this right back to music. So, what inspired, you know, the further into the funhouse like stuff? Like what happened whenever you were like this is the new project and like this is the most recent because you kind of took a pause or are you still like cooking up?
Uh, that's a good question. Honestly, it started. Oh, actually, it's kind of silly, but it all started. I think I was just kind of getting more into electronic music. Uh, again, like I've made electronic music in the past, but like um recently, like I went to a show. I saw Machine Girl, Giant Claw, in Cleveland, or Lakewood rather. Not, well, it was kind of Cleveland, but I saw that show, and like it was just I realized like like granted they didn't have a drum machine. They didn't have like they had a drummer and everything, but like it just kind of gave me the idea that like like you don't necessarily need a lot of you don't need like a band to make like music basically. That's what I like about it. Like you like I've wanted to like find people for a band forever, but like with like technology and like especially like drum machines and synthesizers, like you can like just do it all yourself and like not have to like fuck with people who are like like I don't know, like flaky or they just it's like you just do it by yourself.
I've always came out that I was the problem, being why I would want him to do acid and take him on out and drink, and I was like, what do you mean practice? Practice?
Yeah, right. Yeah, right. Yeah, no, yeah, it's like with a band, it's like a marriage. It's like you really have to be like committed to like this thing, I think. But like with when you do it by yourself, it's like you all you have to care all you like it sounds very I don't want to like I don't know like I do love collaborating with others who are like very self-willed and like they do their own thing and like you don't have to like whip them into shape to do it. Um like that's the ideal like just being able to click with someone. But it's hard to do that. It's really hard to do that for
I,
whatever reason.
well, I guess to me it's like I can click. I mean, like in my own experience, like in this past thing with Breakfast at the Zoo, shout
Uh
out. Like like there's the click, and then there's also like the relationship dynamic where like the person or X, Y, and Z people are in relationships, and it also like affects kind of like how it works with like the music sometimes, or like in this case
yeah.
it did, and then also like throwing in the drugs and alcohol and mix like of course sometimes it adds fire to the fuel. So it's like in my perception, I guess there's sometimes of like yeah the music can be very good or like there's like no problem whenever we all get together and we're like playing live, but it's like the living and the like X, Y, and Z factors outside of the music where you're like okay like it's kind of affecting everybody too.
Yeah.
That's the band, that's the marriage part, I guess.
I totally get that. Yeah, no, that's definitely sadly a problem you can run into.
I feel like and one thing that I can attest to is like whenever me and my friends have kind of hashed this out, but we were saying, dude, it didn't matter like where we were whenever we were traveling on the road. We couldn't tell each other Adam from Apple or whatever. Like we couldn't tell each other shit because like we were still we had to learn and find out the hard way because like we were still like stuck up the ass of like something completely different besides like what like we actually had going either on for us or against us. You know what I mean? So I think
Yeah.
I feel like that's the way with so many bands. And like I want to get into this. Some of your favorite bands, some of your favorite artists that you still listen to.
uh, I love Genesis a lot. I love like 80s Genesis, like Phil Collins era. Um, like I love John Mouse. Uh, like like Sensations Fix, James Ferraro, Chrome. Uh, like I don't know. I listen to a lot of like prog rock. Um, 13th Floor Elevator, Soft Machine, Prince, Prince of Revolution, Gentle Giant, Incredible String Band, Magma. I could go on forever. No, no, different band. This is a British band. Huh? Yeah, I'm not sure.
Did you ever travel out to like Oregon, Washington, or did you kind of go like
Yeah,
yeah, yeah?
yeah.
So
No, I was dating someone from Washington, and I was like kind of living out there for a few months.
I know how that goes. So what was your take on that? Like, were you in the suburbs? You go and visit like the city of Seattle?
I was in. Oh, sorry. What were you saying? Tacoma. Yep, Roma, Tacoma. No, 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 no. This was like yeah, yeah. I guess there's some affluence there, but no, I was like my ex was living in like really shitty kind of apartments and like true.
I had one in downtown, like Belltown, which is like the heart of the downtown, like near the public market.
Oh
Could
yeah.
tell you it was still shit. It did not matter what the price was, still shit. The studios that were like actual for artists that were supposed to be there for like making music and recording. Studios are still shit. It's like warehousey and dingy as fuck. I mean, that's even the kind of vibe for Los Angeles, but like Los Angeles, all the musicians have to share like this one big like space with all the music gear, but then like you're like duct taping which corner, which space is whose, and like who gets like on the schedule, even though you're technically paying a shit ton to be in that one little space that you're probably sharing with like fucking 4 or 5 other bands that are gonna pop up randomly.
Yeah.
I was so mind blown over some of the westernized culture when it comes to like working on your music, because to me, like I have like this other Mac in front of me. I'm like all the music that I made over there, like in the West Coast and whatnot, like it like it's on pause right now, but I still kind of look at it as like that slight disgust because I know what's in there.
I could see, yeah, like bad memories, kind of tied in.
I remember this one friend I had, come and move out with me where by the time like we're recording music together in our bedroom, I'm like, we're screaming drunk and fighting like at each other, like, you should play it like this, you should, like fighting over the damn music, but like we were fucking pissed.
That's hilarious.
I think that there's also like that moment of like you need to also kick back and like learn how to, enjoy the good moments. I don't want to say party because you can party in so many ways, but party.
Yeah, yeah, like party, like shit. I mean, I like I do it by myself, but like it's like you can really get wrapped up into it. Like, yeah.
All right, so I want to get back to your music. What's like your favorite part about like creating? Is it like I'm gonna be using this instrument, or is it like I'm getting out this message? Do you go in with like lyrics and themes? How does it happen for you?
I honestly most of I never really think of lyrics, but or like a message really. I just think about like what interests me and like what like what I'm about like and like I think of it as like an outlet, like a personal outlet for me. Um, I'd like to like I think it's helped people like like realize you don't have to do this, that, and the other to like make music. Which like I get like I think that's a huge thing is like just doing it. Uh, like it doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be squeaky clean. It can just be whatever it is in its raw, form.
Here's like my personal question. What did you think about whenever you came across Spirit Navigators then?
Oh, very. I dig it. I dig it. I need to look more into your music and like your art. But like my first impression was like, okay, I can get like behind this. Like I think it's uh like I've heard some of your music. I like where it's going. I like I mean obviously like I'm a huge like psychedelic music person. So that's like huge for me. Just something about it. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just more interesting. Maybe it's just like primordial. Shout out primordial freaks. Those are my friends. But no, but uh, uh, yeah, just something about it just like gets in my head. Like that kind of music, and like I can definitely like feel it from what you're kind of doing. How do you like? I want to ask, how do you make music?
For me, as it is always on the spot. I don't write much down. Um, none of
Right
the
on.
yeah like none of the guitar, none of like the bass, not none of like the piano. Like anything is it's just recorded as it comes in waves.
Yeah,
And also like I feel like with the editing style, I'm just kind of like which 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 kind of panning am I looking for, and what little effects can I add to like the most like affected like pedals that I have going in the DI. So it's like
yeah,
whenever I do maybe like find like a direct input preset. I'm still trying to find out like how to make that like do the less thing because I'm already like inputting in a lot of shit. And to some degree, like I feel like a lot of the questions I get lately has been like with the drumming. I just program drums or use like beat machines and like play along with like what that is, and then I later on like find out like what stuff is working for what. And
yeah,
and one thing I've really wondered too about like other artists, like how are you kind of setting the pace of like how the song develops, and especially as like tempo and like the different kinds of like percussion bits, because you have like pauses whenever you're playing instruments, and those kind of aspects I'm like really intrigued because like I didn't come from like a heavy percussion background, you know what I mean?
yeah. Same here. Yeah, I hear you. I hear you with that. That's cool.
Same thing, like I guess for me, younger. Whenever I was younger, I was like 12, 13. My dad, he did have like recording like stuff, but didn't have like music equipment. So he gave me a tape recorder, and it did have like ways to overdub and everything like that. And
Yeah,
my
cool.
uncle later on gave me a keyboard, and besides that, I had like random electric guitars. So like very young, I had like a just like a random tape recorder in my room, and like a first act like amplifier, and just like plugging up my guitar, and like just trying to like learn what I could put on the tape, and like how to overdub it, and like what frets were good. Because at that time,
Yeah.
I wasn't even taking lessons. No, like, I don't know anything about music. I was just trying to find out, like, even what frets sounded fine. I don't know.
Oh, I feel that. Yeah, no, same here.
To me, it's like I think about it back then because I don't know whenever I was younger, I was thinking, this tape is gonna be the tape. Like, oh yeah, like this tape I recorded, y'all, you don't know nothing about it, but it's gonna blow your fucking mind. Anybody that showed this tape is, they gonna put that tape in, and they gonna know. They're gonna know I'm high as fuck while my parents are gone.
Oh, I feel that. Yeah, I feel that.
So I guess before we go, thank you for joining Vibe Osmosis. What are some songs that you'd like to feature on the show outside of what you sent me? Because the songs that you sent me, I'm gonna like feature while we talk and all that.
Oh, ooh, off the dome. Oh, that's a good question. Does it have to be my songs? Can it be like a more well-known artist like songs? Maybe not Kanye. Oh shit, this is really on the spot. Um, oh I know. Uh, Gift of Freedom by China Crisis, and um, yeah, and any other songs? Walking with Clouds by Translution. I can like like type that out if you want.
No, I totally got it. This is the last Vibe Osmosis question. If you were
Okay.
stranded on an island and you could only bring one thing with you, what would you bring?
Shit. I'd bring oh I'd bring Planet Earth.
I'm bringing
That's a
Captain
trick
Planet
question.
to this
Trick
bitch.
question.
Captain Planet about to DJ us off on some shit. Like, I never heard the Earth come with me. All right, that's brilliant. It's like at least I got this Earth to explore while I'm on this fucking island. Thank you for joining Vibe Osmosis. It's been a good one, and I will also do you have like any current stuff you want to shout out before we go?
Yeah. I want to shout out Giant Enemy Cancer Cult, Chance Gray, Lex St. Leonard, Jacob Molinex, my parents, and the city of Warren. And I think that's about it. All right, man. Thanks for having me. Ciao.